Greetings, everybody. I am Fire Lotus, and welcome back to another live Witches Chat. So, if you do not know who I am, hi, I'm Fire Lotus. I've been doing these for about 4 years now. Go ahead and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell icon. That way you get all the notifications of when I post videos and or go live. So, buckle up. There's a lot to talk about into this one. There are a couple ideas. We're going to be talking about the project that I've been recently working on. And yeah, so in general, I'm going to wait until we start getting some people here. Hello! I've actually been loving... Alright, OCD moment. Hold on. Necklaces. There we go. I've also actually been loving this. Hello! But yeah, I've been loving these, and you know what? I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the energy. I don't know if I was just blessed with bones today, but on top of bones, I've been organizing. I also came prepared with 2 books. A planner and my other book, and I also finally grabbed a pen. So, this is awesome. Also, I've been very productive. A lot of things have happened in amazing ways, which is what we're going to talk about. So, for one, I actually did get to fix the videos and post them, which I love. Love the fact, okay, let's fix this. Welcome to the live chat. Remember to, okay. Okay, there we go. See, I don't know why it's doing that. That's why. Okay, here we go. I've been crafting for the last 3 days all day. Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. Okay, so my phone is acting a little weird recently since last night. Like, my apps are randomly crashing. I've went through the memory and everything like that, so we shouldn't have any issues. And I also... Hello! I am doing great, and I also fixed the comments. I had it on pinned comment instead of live comment, so they shouldn't randomly disappear. But okay, so we're going to talk about Elecacy today, and an experience that I also got to get, and I'm also going to be shouting out somebody. So, if you are on Instagram and or TikTok, I also have to talk to her about getting a YouTube video, YouTube channel. Anyways, Southern Spiritual Mama. I had a question yesterday, and it actually kind of went into a reading. I trust her enough. She actually read my birth chart, and here are some important factors with birth charts and what you could share online and what you don't really need to share online. For one, if you ever want to be read to filth, she is the way to go. Like 100% the way to go. But with that being said, I learned a lot. A lot of shit makes sense now. I learned a couple of other things, which I will be talking about and experimenting with in the near future. But let's talk about astrology-wise and certain things you should not be letting the world and or internet know from my stance and in my personal practice and beliefs. And I'm going to tell you why. So there's this trend on a lot of apps, on all the apps, where you reveal your 3 major signs, which is your rising, ascending, and I forgot the other one. You can. If y'all have ever noticed, I've never shared anything except for I am an Aries at heart. That is my first sign. I am an Aries. I'm a fire sign. But did you know, giving somebody your birth chart, hello? Oh, welcome. When you give an astrologer your birth chart, you are basically giving them a blueprint, as long as they know how to read it, a blueprint of everything about you. I'm talking good morning, I'm talking past trauma, very detailed, like every single aspect that has ever happened into your life, depending on the astrologer who's reading it. Good morning. Yes, moon sign, thank you. Your rising, ascending, and moon sign. Do not be sharing those willy-nilly with everybody, and I'm explaining why. With astrology charts in your birth chart, it is literally a blueprint of your entire life. That is things that have happened, things that are currently happening, and things that will happen and or could happen. You being a fire sign makes sense why I get along with you. Oh, thank you. But yes, definitely a fire sign. But with that, we have to realize that it's the same kind of conversation that people have had. Should you show your altar? Should you not show your altar? Should you show your current workings while it's actually being worked? It all depends on the other end of how that witch and what that witch can do. With that being stated, anybody who is a witch and a practitioner who also knows even baseline astrology things, you could potentially setting yourself up to get worked on. Whoops, we're going forward. I will not share. Now with that, you can share, but you need to be able to trust this person. Like when me and Southern Mama got through, she actually personally asked me, she's like, will you also delete your birth charts from this conversation? She's like, I'm never going to use them against you, but it's etiquette, which is 100% true. Because with that birth chart, if somebody really wanted to fully fuck with you and or fuck your life, it wouldn't take a hex or a curse. They would be able to use certain planets and certain 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 aspects of where those planets are to directly impact your life. I'm talking on all multiple levels. So from here on out, just be wary and be cautious with what information you share. Everybody, the only information that people know, like unless you are in like on my personal Facebook, they barely know anything about me. And the reason that is because I have learned as a practitioner, the more information somebody has on you, as long as they can work with that, they could do anything they desired to. And you would never know it. You would even think you were hexed, maybe cursed, when in reality, you have somebody that literally knows your personality, what type you are, certain things that trigger you. They would be able to use that to your advantage. Imagine a narcissist who could read birth charts and get your birth chart. So be cautious with the information that you put out there. Now, when it comes to the altars or anything like that, ignore the world state. My phone is possessed. It's okay. Oh, you said word state. It's okay. LOL. I understood what you meant. But in the process of me actually getting this reading, I learned that I am nowhere near my full potentials. It also helped me realize that I am procrastinating and I am basically setting myself up for failure, as in I also first time, or no, it was about the second time I logged into TikTok today, this woman was giving this general reading from Michael the angel. Oh my God, you talking about calling me out? Straight up called me out. It's like, look, why are you procrastinating? Why are you pausing this? You set this up. You wanted all of these new possibilities and all these things to come to you. You did this to yourself. Now, are you just going to sit there and lose it all? Or are you going to get the fuck up and do what do what you manifested to do, which is today. I have done so much shit today in a small amount of time that I ever did. Why? And you know why? I need to scrape together some funds and go see Southern Mama. Definitely. He really is blunt. But you know what it was? Fucking TikTok. I made a stitch this morning because I'm to the point with my content where like I'm just gonna post shit and you like it, you don't, you do. I don't get paid for the likes and the views and stuff. Same. I procrastinate hard. And with TikTok, due to my ADHD, I hyper focus in on it. On top of that, I stitched a video that's like, you know how people are complaining about these 10-minute long videos because TikTok just rolled out certain features to where some content creators can upload a 10-minute video. People are basically saying they're trying to turn into what I'm on right now, YouTube. That's not even the point. The point is people were complaining and they're like, thanks to TikTok, I can barely watch a 3-minute video. I can barely watch a 60-second video. Finally made it for a few new headphones. Oh, sweet. That is awesome. And I'm like, the fact that everybody's saying and admitting that an app is making their ADHD worse, but instead of getting off said app, they're complaining because they're trying to get longer videos on here. And I was like, it's the fact that they're not complaining that they're being damaged by an app, but still want to use said app. What type of world do we live in right now? So you know what I did? I fucking logged the fuck off. If I post a video, I did not know this on certain phones. You can actually press the TikTok app and it'll open 3 features, browse, post, or like your most recent message. So I don't even fully have to actually open the app to post a video, which is what I've been doing today. If you're on there, you'd totally be able to tell. And I was like, you know what? I finally got headphones that work because my partner got to upgrade his a few months ago. So now I have wireless ones. They suck when it comes to having conversations on phones, but listening to music and doing everything else works perfectly fine. My tarot card called me out this morning, like, not good. I was like, be nice with me. It's the morning. We were having a conversation about that in like two discords about how like cards can completely call people out. I love it though. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna post videos, but get off that. And I was like, what else can I do? Today's trash day, so I gotta move the trash up there. I had to wash clothes. I actually love washing clothes. Also, warning with working with your ancestors, be very careful with how you word things. Like last year, if not slightly year before that, when I started working with my ancestors, I was like, you know what? I want to be able to basically like walk in your shoes. Nope, fuck that. Should not have said that. Do you want me to tell you why? Less than a week later, my sink, kitchen sink, fucked up. Drainage wise, would not drain. I've used every chemical that you can possibly get. Still will not work. Slightly got it working, right? That lasted 6 months to the point where we had to completely replace the fucking faucet, right? Okay, so we're like, all right, great, got it. I understand. Reword shit, okay? Washer and dryer both went out. So for the past 2 years now, going on 2 years, I've been no, the washer went out about 6, 7 months ago. So since then, I'm having to do it old school, which is fine. I grew up in the country. I know what struggling is like, and I'm having to wash our clothes in the bathtub, and then using this crate, I bring them up here and dry them on the line. Thus, literally doing what my ancestors did before we had compliances. I love it though. Do not get me wrong. I'm one of those types of people to where like cleaning is my therapy because it's something that my body just naturally does and knows how to do without me having to think. So yeah, watch out just watch working with your ancestors. They have a very sick sense of humor. Um so yeah, there's that. On top of that, I also will be setting a date very, very soon to get Southern Mama featured on my podcast. We're going to sit down and do an episode. I love it. You can learn a lot from her. Even like with all creators, I'm just going to let y'all know this now. I will have creators on my profile that some will not like. Doesn't matter. What you take from it is things that you can learn from a situation. But yeah, I logged off of TikTok. I started listening to music, opened up Discord, going back and forth between that. And I've had one of the most fucking productive days that I probably had in like 3 weeks. Got a deck, and boy, is it mean. I have a mean deck too. I typically use my straightforward deck. I have multiple decks. My tarot deck, 50-50. My oracle deck, it loves to call me out. Funny story really quick. My partner, and I know some relationships will not be like this, but my partner can also read my cards, like they allow him to. But the very first time he picked up my dead Flowers for the Dead oracle, it read him. He thought he was reading me, but as he actually started reading the cards, he was like, holy shit, they just fucking read me. And I'm like, yeah, I told you. They're sometimes smartass. My conjure cards, on the other hand, have only been nice to me twice. Twice. Out of like 20-something readings, twice. They are very, very deep, like Southern granny, grandpa, strict, foul mouth. They will cuss you the fuck out, and they don't care. My playing cards are blunt as fuck, but my Oracle deck is super nice, and it's all about self-improvement. Oh, I love that. And then my Halloween deck, it can be one of those tricky bitches. And yes, I said tricky bitches because a lot of the times, like that deck, if I read people, I have to warn them. That particular deck will call you out, as in it will answer the question that's in the back of your mind that you didn't ask, but you really want to know. Yeah, it'll answer that one instead of answering the question that you actually asked. It's pissed so many people off. Like, I've offended 2 people, and I was like, look, I'm sorry. I did not mean to offend you. I did not mean to overdraw that line. But, like, I told you that. Like, I am not responsible for what my cards do. And then I have a, you know what? I'm not even gonna name the deck that I have, because if it were to get back on TikTok, so many people would rip that apart. I have a meditational deck. Put it that way. If you've been following me for a while, you know what deck that I'm talking about. But how things are, I had to trade a tarot deck because the deck was generally not stepping my toes enough. Oh, that is awesome. I like that. Tomorrow I have my first rune from Shadow Hunters, and I'm having the talent rune on my arm. Oh, that is awesome. But I have a very, very emotional meditational deck. Like it'll call you out, but on a deep emotional level. And then I do have a set of, they're not really a set of bones, they're more like charms. I don't really read those that much. And then me and my partner both have a rune set. And I haven't started messing with them just yet. I've been trying to get my partner to, but he just never finds the time. Um, and then obviously y'all know that I have pendulums. And then my pendulums can also be smartasses a lot. Here recently, how my life is my cards will call me out. I won't listen to them. My partner will call me out without even realizing he called me out. And then I get called out in my dreams. So, like, I'm just getting called out all over the place. But, sometimes we need to be called out for us to realize what is the bigger picture. Now, also with that in the conversation I was having in Discord is why do we let, and this is also including me, so I'm not just calling everybody out, why do we let non-magic practitioners or non-believers of our faith or spirituality put us in boxes by telling us what is real and or not real, and then we get it to a point to where like we're afraid to share certain things that have happened in our practice because we're going to be labeled as crazy or something like that. I've already took that name and like embraced that shit. I'm crazy, and you know what? It's part of my personality. You would not like me if I was normal. I would be a very plain Jane person. No. Sorry, I had to call from my daughter. Oh no, you're good. I hope everything's okay. And talking about this, I get the damn tower in my reading. I've also realized with tarot cards, and I'm gonna get back to talking what I'm talking about. A lot of people, like when you get the tower card or the death card, and I'm not just talking about you, I'm talking in general, a lot of people will like kind of just take the first thing that they learned about it and they're like, oh my God, this is going to be bad. But at the same time, with tower energy, sometimes it takes our entire world toppling over for us to realize that we could have been doing it better or we could have had better things. And it sometimes takes things completely falling out around us to also highlight all the bad things or all the things that we were giving energy that was just taking that shit and not reciprocating it back. It also highlights that as well. That's one of the reasons it has taken so long for me to start therapy. They call me crazy. I hate when therapists do that. Yay. Yes, I'm crazy. I love it all. Hello, beautiful soul. I'm at work, so I can't talk much. That's okay. I hope you're having a great day at work. But yeah, like sometimes it takes our world burning down for us to actually, kind of, well, have a Phoenix moment. And I personally love, I mean, I'm a fire sign, but I personally love Phoenix moments because they also remind us of how much shit we've been through and survived when we didn't think we would. And then it also shows us how strong we are. Oh, that's not a bad in the reading. It's just a blunt. Oh yeah, very, very blunt, which I like kind of blunt things. Sometimes it takes being blunt to get a point across. But anyways, why do we let people put us in boxes? Like, I've had an experience where I levitated. I don't care what people say. Fully straight up did. Have I ever done it before? No. But I think one of the main reasons on a humanity level, the reason that we haven't fully evolved and or fully stepped into our potential as a species is because we have so many people in power or like people that have degrees and stuff that are like, oh no, that's not possible. Oh no, that's not possible. Oh no, that's not possible. It's not like physically possible. Our brains are basically a biocomputer, biologic computer. What I think the only time that we limit ourselves is when society in itself sets a standard and then pushes us in that box. May I ask what deck is it? The Conjure one, because it sounds like I need that one. It is the Conjure cards by Jake Richards. In a second, I will go get them because I don't think they're in here. Yeah, no, they're in there. But it's they're based off of playing cards, like actual playing cards, except for he designed them all. I'm in the very beginning stages of those cards because I haven't been able to add my own situations to them to be able to take them outside of the book and advance that to where I'd be able to actually read somebody else. But they're definitely not for the faint of heart at all. Yes, we have to learn, evolve. The world evolves all the time, and we have to keep up. Exactly, and it's kind of like unlearning. There's a lot, and that's also stuff that's not talked about in spirituality and witchcraft. The fact of how much a lot of our blocks that we have are blocks that we put on our own selves because we actually think that we have unlearned something, but in reality, we're not ready to face that mourning. What I mean by the mourning aspect is people, they like put online, they're like, oh, if you have Christian virtues or Christian beliefs, but you're a practicing witch, yes, we know, and I'm fully for Christian witches. But the people that are like, you have to detach yourself from that. Why do we not talk about the mourning process that we have to go in the process of that? Like, and the reason I say that, it's because it's, in a way, it's like leaving a church or leaving something that you don't want to, but it's going to be better for you because it's holding you back and stunting your growth. And why don't we talk about that? Like, it is a very sad and fucked up situation because there's also a lot of like religious trauma with that, but nobody talks about the mourning aspect of that. There's a reason I said mourning, and I brought that up as well. Yes, we have to learn and evolve. We use only 45% of our brain, I think. I think that's the same amount too, because at first I was like, we only use 10%, and I was like, no, that's been disproven. But it's weird. And like mourning in general is weird. And here's a little story time. So my first love and one of my best friends in my entire life passed away. I think like it's been 3 years now. I said I think because PTSD, I'm horrible at keeping track of time. I think it's been 3 years now. I think this will be the third year. But he unexpectedly, accidentally passed away on the 4th of July, which in general, I hate the 4th of July, not because of the celebrations, just that date. I've had a lot of weird shit happen on that date. But he passed away, and like I recently learned, thanks to the therapeutic side of TikTok, that I always thought that when it comes to things like that, that like I'm just one of those persons that can like view everything that happened and then completely like get over it. No, what I actually do is like detach myself from that situation, therefore it's no longer personal, so I can just move on. It's like trauma response, but it's also survival. Um, so like I had thought that like, hello, I thought that I had just like completely like fully like processed that death until last night. Like I'm going about my night. I was sitting in here right before I was going to sleep listening to some music, and one song came on and hit a fucking floodgate, and it was just, it all came to me, and like I processed his death there. And I was like, wow, okay. He was here. Like I could feel, hello. I could feel his energy very strongly, so like I knew he was here for it. But it was just awkward, slightly awkward, because like my partner woke up in the middle of the night and he walks in there and I'm just crying my eyes out, having a glass of wine, listening to music, and he looked at me half asleep and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, no, I'm just processing death. I'm okay." And he kind of stood there like he was trying to process it half asleep. And he goes, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And he goes, "Okay." And just walked back to bed. And I'm like, all right, that was weird. I would definitely get the deck. I want to strip down and make it worthy of calling it. Makes sense. Oh, that makes perfect sense. But yeah, definitely. And if you don't like that one, another deck to try out is Flowers from the Dead Oracle. Especially if you are new to reading cards, I actually encourage that over getting a deck of tarot cards. Because what that deck was specifically designed to do, no, this is not a paid sponsor. What it was designed to do specifically was to build your intuition and the confidence in your intuition. Then, once you have the confidence built up, that's when I would start learning tarot, because you can bring that confidence over with you. Because, see, with magic, even banishing spirits, working with the land spirits, which I'll hopefully be making a video on today, the one thing that's not talked about enough, like we've all heard, like you have a dominant and receiving hand, magic wise. Also, in your practices, especially working with land spirits, banishing any type of entities or spirits, or even spell work or even baneful magic, when you're saying it or when you're using the verbal aspect of it, you have to show authority. You have to have confidence, and not only that, but you also have to project that outward. What it's going to do is, for one, if you're working with a land spirit or a spirit in general, it's going to show, okay, wait, they know what they're talking about. They have confidence. They hear that. Also, with setting boundaries with certain spirits, if you're just like, no, please don't do this, they're going to look at you and be like, piss off. Versus, yo, I told you, like, you know, the mother, the dad voice, the older brother, uncle, whatever you want to call it, that adult voice where it's just like, no, you have to do that. Now, working with land spirits is going to be different for everybody because every land spirit is different. Um, what do I mean by that? As in, for one, we live here in the United States, so you also have to take into effect whether you acknowledge they're there or not, or let me rephrase that, whether they acknowledge you're there or not. There are native energies and native spirits all over this place, obviously. Um, Yes, they definitely have to be set 100%. Um, but for one, you have to take into that aspect. Now, an interesting fact with that, watch Burning Dragon's Blood, because I've been told by multiple sources that for some reason Dragon's Blood is very, very heavy when it comes to native spirits. So if you do that, and I don't know where the conversation ended on the whole sweetgrass. I don't know if it's open or closed. But anyways, use a sweet smelling light herb after that to kind of ease them down. So always remember that. LOL, one time I was asked, did you just mom voice a god? And I said, yes, I did. I've done that before, 100%. And like sometimes it takes that. That's also something interesting that I'm going to be bringing up very soon, or I'll be talking about a little bit later on in this, and about something that I'll be experimenting with. Not the mom voice towards gods, dear God, no. Interesting story with that really quick. So I had a moment, around the time my grandmother passed away, where I kind of just like had one of those movie moments where I just completely fucking snapped. And it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, storm's rolling up, and I'm outside in the middle of my yard, like fucking cussing out the gods. I'm talking all of them straight up. I just let it all out. It was during my spiritual awakening. And the two things that happened after that, I was not explaining. One, within 5 minutes of that, because I had two friends over who like brought me back inside. And we went to walk back out to smoke a cigarette, and next thing you know, you see this fluffy ass white and black kitten sitting in the doorway, meowing. Have no fucking idea where it came from at all. Um, and then it smelled like roses and rosemary, so we kept her. We named her Magic. Eventually I brought her here, and then one that I did not get to keep because she accidentally got something on the property got her. Before that happened, Stripes, or AKA Grandpa, he walked up because he was outside there. And next thing I know, this fucking fluffy ass, I thought it was a squirrel. It was not. It was a Maine Coon. This fluffy ass little kitten's just strutting its way behind her. And I'm like, or behind him. And I'm like, where the fuck did you come from? Her name was Gypsy. And then Magic came after I cussed out the gods. And that cat was straight up Magic. Did you see the Lucy movie? Oh, I love that movie. Putting it on my list. But yeah, like sometimes we do have to have like a complete fucking meltdown, because what do I always say? It's better to find a healthy way of getting it out versus keeping it in and it festering and infecting everything else. Yeah, I'm sorry. Y'all love this of me, but I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. That's how my brain works. But with that also being said, don't put yourself in a box. Just because the way that I always used to look at it, and thanks to online, it's jaded me a little bit. Yes, Lucy was a great depiction of that. I wish we could have got a part 2 to that, and I don't know how, but I wish we could have. Like, them actually processing all of that knowledge that Lucy had downloaded. I would love that. But I always used to say that just because I've never seen it doesn't mean that I can't do something. Exactly, it's a release. But, and what I mean by that, like, if somebody came up to me and they're like, yo, I am a werewolf, obviously there's going to be one part of me that's like, okay, I want to see, but respecting boundaries, I would be like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, as long as your mental state is, like, checked and you're still in reality, you know, fuck, why not? I mean, and I've always looked at this, like, if we actually did have, like, real vampires, like, as in, like, movie depiction or legend depiction of vampires and werewolves and other mystical creatures, obviously they're not going to go around fucking transforming in front of a damn camera. Like, they're going to keep that shit secret, right? So, like, why not? I've seen a witch light a candle by looking at it before. I thought I was fucking hallucinating. I was not. Muggles will never understand magic, so forget trying to please them. This is very true. I took some cold meds and I'm sleeping and I'm gonna nap. Love you, thank you. Ah, of course, of course. And I hope you get to feeling better soon and enjoy your nap. But like, we've experienced, there are legends, and we all know that legends came from some type of truth. Shit, most fantasy movies, at least the idea behind said movie came from some type of idea and or experiment or experience. So like I always try to keep an open mind, and then when I joined TikTok, that all went to shit. Like, another thing we need to talk about, and like if you agree with the terminology, then you know what? Fuck it. You agree with it. I wish we could stop coming up with these. I think another creator called them pop terms, to where basically it's the exact same definition of 20 different things, spiritual, like new age spirituality. And then somebody comes up with a cooler name and then it trends again, when in reality it's been trending since the fucking 70s. Like, even with speaking in light language or speaking that language, I don't know what you want to call it. I've actually learned there's an actual name for it, and it's basically speaking your first language, which is baby language, which most people forget. Whether it's gibberish, whether it's tongues, whether it is light language, I don't know, but I can do it and other people can do it too. I get that. But like, if a lot of people actually, and again, if anybody believes in the star seeds, I'm not trying to be rude, educational, just conversation, right? I think we use more than brain 10%. In the movie, she uses the phone string telepathically communicating with spirits and deities. I actually, there is a TV show, and for the longest time, this is what I actually thought autistic people see, and it's not a bad thing. There was a TV show called Alphas. Basically, they weren't even mutants. They were just humans, but their abilities were strengthened. And there was an autistic person on there because he would do his hands like this. And that's what he was doing. He was doing what Lucy was doing. He was actually the radio and frequency waves he could visually see. And he was using that to use technology. And like, I love that idea. It's the same idea. And I've actually even incorporated visualizations of it in my practice, which is how they do magic in Discovery of Witches, how like it's strings. I love that idea because it's true. And a lot of cultures also have that. Like, what if that is how autistic people see? Because I've never thought of them as like being down here or whatever they said. I've always seen them as people that they're just straight up, like they're on a different level. And to me, that makes them more advanced, because I've sat down with somebody who is autistic, a 10-year-old kid, and we had a conversation about spirituality and magic, and I'm thinking there's no way he is 10. He is 40. No. And I'm like, what the fuck? But magic wise too, it is important to kind of keep things flowing and keep things fresh in a way. Like, I understand recycling things, but these new, like, I think there's a new one that's called like a Dark Walker, or, and again, I'm not hating on them, but it's basically, it's the same thing as what people said empaths are. Basically, I cannot stand videos that do this, because it's like, all right, I'm about to possibly make you discover something about yourself today. And they're like, put your hands up. Did you experience trauma? Yes. Religious trauma? Yes, 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 yes. Anybody who grew up in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, we can all be grouped into that. There we go. Shadow Walker. And I like the term, do not get me wrong. But like, we've all had trauma. we all have to do shadow work when you and yourself in your practice calls for it. But like, why do we have, and it's so weird because this is the era of how so many people hate labels. And then those people who hate labels turn around and create a new label to become exclusive from other side. And I'm like, I don't even think you know what you want right now. This is why social media is ruining spirituality. And then I saw a video of this girl, little child, or this woman shared a video of her child speaking in light language. And she's like, views up the roof. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure most kids nowadays, depending on how the parents are, and hey, that's not for me to say. You are the parent. It is your family, your life. If they have a TikTok, they're going to be exposed to this. It's just like there were a couple of schools. I think it was last year or it was right before the Panorama hit. I think it was girls specifically, for some reason, they were starting to develop tics and actually be diagnosed with Tourette's, but they learned that it was because they were following people who also have Tourette's and they make videos on it. So these teenagers were basically giving themselves Tourette's because they were so consumed with TikTok and the community. And I'm like, nobody's seeing a red flag with this. Literally, because me and my partner were having a conversation, and I told him, I was like, if you were to, this is going to go into fringe thinking completely. It doesn't really involve magic, but just hear me out, okay? I'm either sounding crazy or in 10 years, I'll be a genius. If you were going to create an actual AI, me and my friends were talking about this Saturday. Oh, this is so awesome. If y'all are going to create an AI system, Shadow Walkers, what is that? I just don't want to be rude. Just taking real. I don't want to. I will answer that in a second. Hold on. If you were to try to create a actual perfect AI robot, right? Or android, right? Or even a system, how would you do that? You would have to expose that AI using some type of closed or filtered system to where they would be able to see almost every single human emotion, expression, or every other thing that has ever happened. Right? Right? All sides of humans, right? What app pays you to go on there and literally dump straight up pure data of emotions so thousands of millions of people can see within a 60-second to 3-minute time frame? TikTok is nothing but raw data. You have people, you have you literally have everything that could possibly be talked about that is legal and people want to talk about it, being talked about and discussed. You have communities all over the world from different sides. You have people that have autism and every other thing else, all in different cultures, different places in the world, all in one platform. Now imagine if they were to take all of that raw data and dump it into an AI system. Dissociative disorder is similar. Our brains learn so easily. Oh, I did not know that. Yes, Mind Over Matter, exactly. And Mind Over Matter is an extremely powerful tool that a lot of people don't use. Now, what is Shadow Walker? I honestly cannot tell you a definition that they used, but basically it's the same thing as being a dark empath or a empath or a I'm almost gonna say soul eater, which is a real thing. Not soul eater, sin eater, which is also a real thing. But basically it's a person that instead of kind of running and like doing their shadow work, they kind of embrace it, but in the same aspect of embracing that shadow, they also heal from it. It's not a new term, it's a new name, but the definition and or what it's all fits under that like umbrella has already been used in the spirituality department multiple times. But it's insane that watching videos. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to take this hair piece off. But it got wrapped around my bracelet. There we go. But yeah, our minds are incredibly things, and that's also why I was saying we sometimes do need to get off TikTok, especially the witches. Especially the witches. Because right now, in general, I guess that's what I am then. News to me. I honestly believe that if anything, we're wounded healers. That term has always stuck with me, but like it would sound weird if I'm like, oh, I'm a wounded healer witch. I just call myself a witch. I kind of do a little bit of everything. I do death work. Am I fully trained in it? No. I don't honestly think you can be fully trained in death work, but I do death work. I do spirit communication. I do a newer thing that's been added to the list, deity communication. I do fucking obviously Appalachian folk magic, Southern conjure, a little bit of everything. Embrace your dark side. Exactly. Use that. And I'm not gonna lie, I've done it before. And sometimes we have to. It's also a side of us. Of course. And that's what drives me crazy when people try to put magic in like a black and white content. It's not. TikTok witches are so toxic. Many act like they are authority, but aren't. I just stay off it, and so much misinformation. It really is. Like, literally, they would argue themselves in a circle, and have before. Because, get this. So, we all have heard the conversations of the closed practice, stuff like that, and cultural appropriating, right? Understand that. But, and before I say this, if you still use this, I'm just using this as an example for the toxic people on that app that always argue with somebody. Oh, it's closed, this. Look at them and be like, you can't ignore your parts of yourself just because you think it's ugly. Exactly, and that is true shadow work. True shadow work is turning the ugly into pretty. Whatever that definition is for anybody. But I want to look at them all and be like, so all the people that are just saying everything is just closed at this point, like all these stupid conversations, if you use the chakra system here in the Western world, you're doing the same thing that you're preaching other people are also doing, because the chakra system here in the Western world is absolutely nothing like the real true chakra system. And even the colors assigned to them do not match traditionally. I get so annoyed whenever I hear someone say shamanism is closed. Want to learn it? I'll teach you what to know. It drives me crazy too. So true. Love all of you. And I can actually detest, yes, this is one book. Where'd it go? Where's the shaman book? This book right here. It is Shamanism, a Spiritual Practice for Daily Life. Tom Cohen. I'm about to read the back really quick. Drawing on shamanic practices from worldwide over shamanism as a spiritual practice addresses the need to contemporary people who yearn to deepen their own intimate mystical sensibilities. This inspirational book shows how to develop a personal spiritual practice by blending the elements of shamanism with inherited traditions and current religious communities. Now, a lot of people, when I talk about this book, especially on that app, they're like, oh my God, you're no, because they heard what they wanted to hear. He takes the core beliefs and the core elements from shamans around the world who also all said, well, no, it's not closed. How can we close something that was gifted to us from the earth? It's for everybody who is willing to learn and appreciate. But he took those core beliefs that made up that practice. I love this book. It really is, and everyone should read it. And he created this book. Now, in the process of that, he came back, and some of his students and friends were curious about it. So he started showing them. And they said the exact same damn thing I said while reading this book, which was, holy shit. Why does it feel like I'm remembering this? It's not like I'm learning new information. It's like I'm remembering information that I did not know I have. And I'm like, holy shit, it's true. Like in this book, they teach you the how shamans use actual locations, like locations that go into a cave, that go down under, or using a tree or a mountaintop that goes up, and then in between. So many things can be incorporated out of this book and put it into yours. And the reason that I love books like this is just like Christopher Pinzak's book. If you pick up a book and they're teaching you something, and they first start out that book with like, look, everything in this book is how I see it. Take from this book and use to what you want. The author is Tom Cowan. That is TomCowan. And Christopher Pinzak's book, all of his is like, look, I'm going to show you this. You take it from there. The Crooked Path, same thing. He tells you in almost every chapter, look, this is how I see it. This is how the lore and legends are. Take that and run with it. I've always felt you were pulled to certain paths for a reason, like your soul resonates with it and tries to feel complete. Exactly. Yes, it's the remembering things from other lifetimes. Exactly, and that's what I was about to say. If we wanted to connect, of course, if we wanted to connect that with the conversation we had on the soul group theory and how one person can have multiple parts or fragments of different souls. And that's why certain people will go on and say that they are this great person reincarnated. It's because an aspect of their soul might be, so therefore it holds that memory. Now, on top of having the memories of our souls from our previous lives, we also have to take into effect on a DNA and biological level that we also hold memories from the two people that created us and their blood, because traumas and memories and certain survival techniques can literally be passed through blood, instinctual, right? This is also, we can connect this with the conversation that we've had on soul fire and witch's fire. Basically, people that are born with the innate ability, the natural ability to not do magic, but to be able to pick it up and run with it. And that's okay. Everybody, and as soon as I have that conversation, sometimes people are like, well, you're excluding people. No, I'm not. There are people that wake up. There are babies, 2, 3, 4 years old. Exactly. Ancestral memories. Babies that are 3 or 4 years old that can straight up play a piano, that can paint. Like, almost said Edgar Allan. Yeah, no, not Edgar Allan Poe. He is a writer. He is a poet. Van Gogh, there we go. They can paint like Van Gogh did. Not having any prior experience, they just pick it up and go with it. Same thing with athletics, singers, musicians. We all have our own special, unique abilities. We just have to find them. And a lot of people, they don't try to find them because of the environment that they were in. They automatically feel like that there's no going up. Like, this is just me. No, it is not. Cooking. If you can cook, that is a skill. Trust me, I know so many people that can burn water. And that's what I love. And that's how magic is. Magic is like cooking. We all have family recipes, but we also sometimes add to that recipe, because that's how it grows. That's how it becomes better. That's how it becomes deeper, more enriched. I'm a natural artist, been drawing my whole life. Oh, that is awesome. I'm an artist, as in I've tried to do a little bit of everything. I do call myself an abstract painter. I can draw really, really well. I just have to be on the right medication. Due to my ADHD, I can't concentrate enough. And my biggest life thing, seasons until your ancestor tells you to stop. Exactly. It gets passed down for about 8 generations. Exactly. And even sometimes it can actually skip a generation. Psychic abilities specifically has this little pattern where sometimes, depending on the bloodline and the family line, it can actually skip your parents and then you'll be gifted the torch. And trust me, families like that, you're not alone because I'm one of them. And hi, hello. Yeah, we're doing it. You know, faking it till we make it. As in, we have no fucking idea what we're doing, but we're figuring out as we go. I love that though. It makes every day an adventure in a way. Um, but we have to. Oh my god, I was talking so much I forgot what I was originally talking about. Brain work with me. The element. No, it wasn't working with the elements. Wait, I can read the comments to. Ah, there we go. Natural abilities. There we go. There we go. Artist wise though, I can draw. I can paint. My biggest life like thing that I'm assuming it's on my birth chart. There are so many things that I know I can do, but I haven't had primarily the finances to be able to get to that place to where I can try it out. Like snowboarding. I believe I can snowboard. I believe I can ski. Only due to the fact that I can skate really, really well and I have balance in my ankles. I'm going to eventually get into electroforming. Want to do that. I want a violin. Never played a violin. Do I think I can play it? Yes. Why? No idea. Every single time I hear a violin, it speaks to my soul on a level that only a violin can do. And I've seen people do it. My old neighbor, I think he just turned 12, and his family was just like this family of fucking music people. Every single family member in his family, his direct family right then, could sing, write music, and play instruments, right? He walks up into a music store and randomly walks up to a fucking violin. And like the people in the store are like, "Are you sure you want that? It's kind of advanced." And his family's like, "No, you don't understand." Literally picked it up out of the case and started playing it like he was trained to do it. LOR ADD Adventures. Yes! Oh my god, it really is. But the funny thing is, I thrive like this. Most people would like panic, but me, I thrive because I've learned to work with the locomotive that is completely off the rails, but it's still trucking along. Um, and it randomly just zigzags all the time. But it's so cool because like I could sit down and my partner had to get used to this, but how my family is, and I think it's a southern thing possibly, where like we can go from point A and then go all the way through the alphabets, not in order, and then somehow still manage to full circle around and be like, boom. So like I could start out by telling you how like my niece fell and hurt its leg, and then also tell you half my entire life story before you even realize I'm doing it. I played violin in elementary. I still think I have it somewhere. Oh, that is awesome. I used to play the trumpet and the snare drum. Yes, chaos. I think witchcraft and ADD come hand in hand. I honestly think they do. It makes sense though, like 100%. But yes, I think the biggest flex that somebody can have, and I have some of this, is where you take what people say are disabilities and then you use them to your advantage. Because, like, I would love to become a private eye. I have too much detailing. I break way too many people down. The first week of me living with my partner, I broke him down on a psychological level to the point where I scared the shit out of him because it came out of nowhere. But when I got through with it, he was like looking at me like I had just completely ripped his heart out, smashed it around a little bit, grabbed it back up, glued it back together, and stuffed it back in. And I looked at him and I was like, what? I didn't mean it offensively. I was just like, this is why you do certain things. And he was like, yeah, let's not do. He set that boundary. He's like, yeah, no, let's not do that again. I was like, all right. I still do it every now and then. Um, but okay, so during that reading, it was brought to my attention that there's something in my chart, to where I'm going to be starting something that is kind of a new journey for me because it's weird because y'all know I don't work with that many deities at all. But I've told y'all stories of how like I don't light a candle for if you do any of this, you do you. Like it's your craft. This is how I do my things. I've never really lit candles or had to in a way summon them. As in, it's kind of like how I viewed God's prayers, like as a Christian, where I'm thinking in my head, okay, you have thousands of people praying to you. How do you hear each one? In my head, I envision them just like bubbles. So when it gets up to heaven, they're just kind of like kind of hovering around until it gets to that point where God absorbs it and he either answers it or just ignores it. Not the point. That would have sent me down a rabbit hole. But I think it's the same way. I kind of view that as like deities. Like when you're talking to a deity, due to the fact that they're divine and our brains cannot understand fully what divine is, like it just goes to them. Well, most people though, they kind of have to summon them, and depending on who it is, you have to do certain things to even get them to show up. I have an ability to where I can just kind of front desk them, if that makes any sense. I've never tried it per se, besides like when Freya comes up, I have a video of it. Thank God I got it on video because I thought it was crazy. To where I was talking to a hawk. I think it was here. I know I have a video of it and a crow. No, it was. I was talking to a hawk outside. For the people that don't know, when a hawk visits here, yes, we have them. There are two that fly around here. But this one broke out of what it normally did. Normally they stay on the pier. It flew up here closer to the house. And I was like, what's up, Freya? And as soon as I said that, it turned around and looked at me. And I was like, oh shit, okay. So I have an ability to communicate with gods and goddesses without necessarily going through the steps to summon them. That's what I was going to do. I'm going to do it in the Discord, possibly, or through private messaging, just a few people, to see if I... See, the reason that I'm very new to it is because, and I've had people tell me this when it comes to me reading my cards, as in the owner of the creator of the Oracle cards that I use also told me the same thing. She's like, it's not the cards, it's the reader. She's like, you're just using the cards to mask the fact that you already know what you're trying to say. You use the cards as kind of, well, a mask. And it's true. I do. Like, I've had conversations with people, and as I'm having these conversations with them, I'm getting so many things in my head, and I'm like, no, I'm not saying that. Like, no. I don't want to accidentally, like, because you never know what somebody's going through on the other end, right? So, like, I don't want to accidentally say something and then it rip off this scar that could go, but could, or, and, but I've been told by multiple spiritual people that, like, you don't need your cards to read people. Yesterday that also happened, and I'm like, wait, what? So like, I want to get to the card. Exactly. That's what it also helps me because in a weird way, it's like I almost use the cards as validation to what I'm reading. So like it makes me feel like I'm not just pulling the shit from the air and like just talking nonsense. And once I get over that, I need you to say what you get from your head when you talk to me. The cards keep me focused. It does keep me focused too. And see, I just put myself on the spot. I'm so afraid that I'm going to say something like, which is funny because I've also talked about this and I made a promise last year that I would just get over it and start doing it. But it helped the fact that there were certain things that I've always questioned or always wondered that were validated in my birth chart. And that's one of the reasons because originally I just had a question, because there are a lot of weirdness in mine, especially right now. Holy shit, I wish I could show y'all right now. And I messed up because the first one that I sent, the first screenshot, was my current chart. It looked like a 5-year-old tried to color in the lines and it just went all over the place. But they're all straight lines. And she was confused. She's like, whoa! And then I realized what I did, and I was like, I sent you the wrong birth chart. So here you go. If you would like to use Skinny Pig, feel free to practice. Wish I could read my birth chart. I'm going to talk to a few people to see if we could possibly set something up to where we would be able to get more help with the people that right now financially don't have it, to where, like, me, I didn't financially have it. We did an exchange of, kind of like, that's in itself. But I want to see if I can get an astrologer to kind of pop in one time, maybe on the Discord or something, and be able to kind of help people figure out ways to start reading their cards. I mean, their birth charts. I know there's a book. There's a birth book that can also kind of do it. And then online, I know how to get a free... There are certain websites online. Whenever I message you, it's because I get the message that you need to tell me something, honestly. Oh, well, I would definitely start remembering that one. And I will try to find the website that I'm talking about and actually post it. I'll post a short on here for the people that don't use TikTok, and then I'll post it on TikTok. There is a site to where you can actually get a full birth chart, your birth chart fully broken down for free. It's just a lot of reading. It's like multiple paragraphs. But also with that though, it's not going to be like an astrologer reading it, as in depending on the astrologer and depending on what they focus and or specialize on, because not all astrologers focus on the major like ruling and like sun sign and the moon sign and the descendant sign. There are other people that will focus on the opposite signs because it tells you more about a person. Which is also why I did the warning in the beginning of this video of like watch what you put online. Um, Energy exchange, I've been doing it with palm readings. It's helped my practice and I've learned. I love doing it, and originally before I got to the point like to where I needed like I had bills to pay. And I still do it every now and then. It depends on if somebody asks. I used to do what I brought to the platform and called the witches payment, which is basically the inner exchange. I just like the term witches payment. And what that does is, yes, Cafe Astrology. I think that is the website that's like 100% legit free, and it breaks it all down, and it also learns or teaches you to read them, just like Astro Matrix can also do. But I like the Witch's Trade, depending on what's going, like what's all. Hold on, I gotta go check something. The Witch's Payment though, bartering basically. Ow. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. Bartering and or the witch's payment. So there are some people that I've had that like they didn't have like certain things set up. I love you were discussing things that are so needed. Like folks can't seem to think for themselves instead of having a calm conversation. Thank you for always sharing. Of course, of course. I use it all the time. I've got to start using it all the time. I have astrology, and there's astrology. Oh my god, brain. Astro Matrix. I use that one. It has helped. I've actually picked up a lot about like what certain things mean with that. And then Cafe Astrology. I've also used that a couple of times. And thank you for that. The reason I like having these conversations is because I believe the only way we're fully going to be able to grow as a community is if we actually have conversations. Even if we agree to disagree with, it still needs to be said and it still needs to be had. And one of the reasons I like sharing so much is because when I started my magical path, I didn't really have that many mentors. I had one mentor for about maybe 2 months, and then we moved away. So everything else I was just trying to figure out of. And what I also learned is there are a lot of practitioners that they may not mean to do it, but they gatekeep certain things. Even on like a business scale wise, they tend to like gatekeep. And I do understand why, especially when it comes to the finances, but there are a lot of questions, especially regarding witchcraft or experiences or things like that, that people just won't share their resources of how they learned it. And I'm like, why? Like, so what if somebody advances further than me? That good for them. Like, I am moving at my own pace. I will get there eventually. And you know what? I'll probably learn a couple of more things along the way. That's the point. But if we all just stay in our own lanes versus like sharing and inspiring people, what are we really doing with life? I agree with you so much that it's always appreciated little Discord chats. And say I'm also going to try my best to actually get in the Discord more. Like one night, and I was inspired by the Appalachia Discord. They're a lot more organized, and I'm trying to achieve that. But I'm thinking about a couple of nights, like maybe I'd have to plan it out, and I'm gonna ask everybody in the Discord to where we have like, if certain people practice a certain thing, not really classes, but kind of conversations on it, like a Q&A almost in the Discord server. And then at some point in time, I will possibly be doing I will be doing a class with the Appalachia Discord soon. I don't know when, but I'm supposed to be doing one with Carrie. I do not know her TikTok name. TikTok name. So, but yeah, no, don't lurk. Everybody should be having fun there. I believe if you didn't pay for the residence, you shouldn't expect others to pay you. Exactly, and thank you for also getting me back on track. I also love that I have a community that, like, helps me. I love this. I love the fact that we're all helping each other. But with the Witch's Payment, and I love that name, and I learned about it in... Why is it every time I go to look for a book? Oh, it's here. This book. This is the first book that I've ever learned about the Witch's Payment. With the Witch's Payment, there are some people that just don't like the idea of doing money, and then there are some people that just don't like receiving money for that. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I find a way? So I created an Amazon wish list, and the way that that works is anything off that list, most of them are books. I've added a couple of other things on there that I need. Like, I have oil on there that are for oil lamps that you can burn inside. I've got to get that because as soon as I get my hands on that, because I can't find the right one in stores, as soon as I get my hands on that, I'll be able to make... What is your Discord? If you click on my link tree, it's Dwellers of the... Not Dwellers of the Hollow. That's my Facebook group. Lotus Hollow. I think it's called Lotus Hollow. But click the link tree that's posted to this, and it's listed there. I think it's the second or third one, and it's listed there. But as soon as I get the oil, I'll be able to actually demonstrate how you use oil lamps in your magical practice. Now, true enough, the oil lamps that I have, they would actually use the full glass one so you can see inside of it. But a lot of people don't talk about how you can incorporate that into your practice because it's part of Appalachian folk magic and Southern conjure, and they're really, really powerful. And then there are books. And then what I do with the books is I'll review the books and then also share information out of that so it just gets reciprocated. And then other things are like either candles, most of them are like candle supplies, or other things that can advance my practice, which thus also affects the community by also advancing. And that's where I started. So that way, if they don't have like Cash App or anything like that set up, I'm just like, look, here's the list. So depending on what the price is of the spell work or the reading, they'll try to match it up exactly. That way there's no money exchange, but there's things that also help me advance my practice. And I encourage everybody to do that, whether if you have a big following or a low following, you never know. Trust me. I got 3 packages that was from someone I didn't even know that was sending them, and they just did it to do it, and it made my entire day. I was like, holy shit. Can try link. Yeah, if you want, you can also drop a Discord link. But yeah, and then I also have an Amazon wish list that is called the Magical Library, and that's all the books that I found that I found on Amazon. That way, if people want to know what I've read or what I have in my collection, they can just click it and find it. And plus, you can also set that wish list up to where your address, if you don't have a P.O. box, your address stays private. That way, like, you know, because I don't have a P.O. box. It's anywhere between $15 and $18 a month, and I don't have that. And I still encourage the Witch's Payment, but there are sometimes when I do get customers or reading, that money that I get, it either goes to my medicine or it goes to the bills. So it's my way of contributing at the house with me and my partner. Sweet, sweet. You'll definitely love it. There are so many things in there. So many sections, I guess you would say, or service channels. So many channels in the Discord. There are also going to be newer ones that I'm going to add. I'm going to be adding a, I think I already did, actually. If I didn't, I will do it today. I will be adding a, yes, welcome to Lotus Hollow as well. I will be adding a YouTube section, which I think I did last night, a magical YouTube section, basically, if either one, you have a YouTube, drop it down there, and or B, drop some interesting videos that you've recently come across. Basically anything revolving magic or anything like that. Not necessarily anything that's like fear mongering or that would start drama or anything like that. Just educational or pushing people up, hyping people up. I just want something where I can help people advance and also do services. It's definitely there. And I'm also going to do that too. I'm going to start a service thing. I just got more planning to do with that one. And I myself am doing the same thing. I've got to start putting myself out there more with my services because my services sell wise has kind of dropped a little bit. Pretty sure that has to do with everything going on in the world, and or people have taken some of my videos and judged me on them. But yeah, I do. I guess I'm self-promoting myself too. I do custom spells. We have a consultation. AKA we have a conversation to make sure I know exactly what type of spell and or what your desired outcome is. And then I do uncrossings, I do cord cuttings, I do uncrossings and road opener. I've mixed them together. Money energy has been a little wonky lately. It really has. Like, it's weird. Also, thank you for validating that it's not just me either. I think I've convinced my friend to start TikTok to expand his services. So yeah. Oh, that is awesome. And then I do multiple different types of reading. I do love spells, fertility. I even do painful magic. It just depends on what the person's trying to do. And then the custom side to that is if I don't already have a service, I will make a service. Okay, I'm so glad I'm not the only one. I'm going to post that. I may make a video about that and ask. Like, is anybody else having prosperity problems right now? Now, there is a video that I saw recently and it kind of blew my mind. Remember this, small business wise, and if you are trying to get that money in, if you sell services, whatever you go by online, so like me, obviously I don't go by my full name, so I go Fire Lotus the Witch. So when you're doing prosperity work and or money work, use your name, use your online name versus your real name. Because what that's doing is like if I were to do that and use my real name, more than likely like my mom would randomly send me like $5, $10 versus me doing it and specifically saying customers come through. And most of the time I will work with people financially. Like I've fucking held a spot for 3 weeks to 2.5 months out of advance. And then also in that conversation, I asked them, hey, are you okay with me posting this online after it's being done? That way I can show people that I actually do, I do services. My friend just did a ton of free money candles for a handful of people. So I'll let you know those results. Okay, sweet. And see, that's a lot with a lot of people right now because we're seeing the kind of the ripple effect of everything that's going on right now. And what I'm thinking about doing, because with that, I know the 18th, on the 18th, I am starting a I don't know if I want to do a honey jar service and or a road opener uncrossing service. Road opener service. Hold on. Oh, this is getting annoying. Holy shit. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Happy early birthday! Off lately. Happy early birthday. But yeah, I'm doing one of those two, and I'm going to talk more about it in the Discord because I have a special little thing for the Discord, but I also know there are people on here that don't have a Discord. So, if you're on here and you're not part of the Discord community, message me on something, one of my things, and I will also let you in on what I'm going to be doing for that community, our community, and then I'll be running that one until April 1st, which is also the new moon. So I thought I'd fix my altar to where my little pest would not be able to get on there. They somehow figured out a way. So that's what I was in there doing. But yeah, I think it's also something that's going on with the world right now that's affecting it, because normally if I do a of course, but normally if I do any type of prosperity working, normally it'll take like, depending on what I did and how I worded it, it'll take a few days, because normally what I'll do, and I encourage y'all to do this as well, do the working. As soon as you get through with that working, you jump online and you advertise like fucking crazy. Whether it's current sales going on or, you know, whatever it is, advertise as much as possible, because what are you doing? You are doing the footwork that everybody has when it comes to magic. You're doing the mundane route. Now, with that, I saw a video that fucking blew my mind, which is the guy asked his class, well, what do you need to, you know, say that? I think this particular woman asked, she wanted to do a veterinarian clinic. And he goes, okay, well, what's the first thing you need for that? And she goes, money. So he asked it again. He asked it again like 8 times. And she's like, land. Somebody else in the class was like, yo, well, I mean, I have this plot of land that I just inherited. I'm not doing anything with it. And it went on. He asked, what do you need? Money. No, you do not. You don't need money. What do you need to get this done? So what I'm trying to say is, why do you need money? Okay, say it's for food. Word that in there. If you have something that you actually need, or you know what I mean? So with a lot of the things that, and I wish I could be more part of this, but due to the fact that I don't drive, my partner does, and the whole mailbox thing, I wouldn't be able to. But like how we've seen the witchy trade things going on, where like as long as you can like pay shipment and everything like that, we can trade it. That's what we can also do in life. What I mean by that is if you're trying to manifest something, sometimes also use connections. What I mean by that is a bookcase. There we go. I had been wanting a bookcase for so fucking long, and I could not get my hands on one. And then all of a sudden my partner goes to work and then come home with a fucking bookcase that he found on the side of the road. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. They had just tossed it out. That's what I mean. Manifesting things, not just with money, but manifesting somebody randomly, like say you need a bill covered. For one, pop that bitch in the freezer. It's not going to, it's not going to freeze the situation to the point where, like, you know, you're safe from it, but it can freeze the situation and or help draw in things for you to get that bill covered. There was a time where I was $60 short on a power bill. Normally, like, most of the time you pay half of it or the majority of it and it just adds on to the other one, but I was like, no, I want to pay this fully off. Could not get it. And I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm sucking up my pride. I reached out on Facebook and I was like, if anybody can like lend me $60, I will completely pay you back in like the next 2 days when my partner gets paid. But like right now we need it. I had one of my friends just like, here you go. And I'm like, all right, I'll get back to you. Like, you know, when my partner, and she goes, no, you don't have to. Just pass it forward. And I was like, what the fuck? And I passed it forward since. So like, on top of that, when I did that experiment for $100, setting a candle versus actually fully going through the manifestation steps and magic steps, and not only did I not get it, but somebody also pointed out to me right after that, the second day is when I randomly got surprised on with the Amazon packages around the amount. So see, like, I didn't necessarily manifest the money, but I manifested physical items that calculated the money. Hello? We're at a point having to decide which bills not to pay. Credit cards, of course, essential pay first. So my husband's going to ask about all these bills in the freezer. We actually don't have any credit card. I don't have any credit cards. I wish I did, because as long as you use credit cards responsibly, they can definitely like save you on a shit ton of things. The most expensive thing that we have is our power bill, and it's not even the fact that we're like right now the AC should be on, but it's totally not. I'm about to have to get back up in a second. Bubbers, you're supposed to be doing your job. You know, I thought mice and like cats were supposed to be mortal enemies. Hold on, let me get them off really quick. I know this is annoying, I'm sorry. Hey. Yeah. Stop the shit. It's annoying. You've completely annoyed the shit out of me today. So please stop the shit, or I'm gonna stop it for you. You're not gonna want me to stop it for you, okay? Can we say Armageddon will be released on you? Okay, I'm back. But yes, so manifestation things. Think of different ways that you can manifest that in, whether that is somebody randomly giving it to you or randomly donating it to you. With that as well, no, I'll save that for a little bit later time. And honestly, with the bill things, I've been there before, trust me. Power bill and phone bill. We are definitely relatable to ADHD impulses. Both of us is bad. It really is, and it drives me crazy because I can hear my bottles clinking around, which is how I know they're up there. It drives me crazy. Oh. And I hope she's recovering properly. But yeah, I did a banishment on my debt a while ago. It helped a ton. Why have I never thought about doing this? Well, congratulations. I'll be doing a banishment today. Crazy thing is, I don't really have debt, but I have the like credit shit that like is no credit. So like it's good that there's no credit, but at the same time it's good that there's no bad credit, but there's also no credit. So but I don't know, maybe it'll slowly change here very, very soon. And there was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh my god, my ADD is slowly declining. It's driving me crazy. I'm working on that. It's definitely an interesting idea I'd never thought of. And I've also realized that actually there's an idea. So with the things that we all need help with, right? I would say, and I'm going to try this today, instead of doing a prosperity spell, I don't even know what to call this. Try to do a spell or just straight up go to your altar and like talk to what you work with and explain the situation and what you need help with and see if it can randomly manifest for them to actually like random blessings, if you know what I mean. Like to see if the deities and stuff and ancestors can help set up certain things to where it comes to you to where it actually is able to take care of. Because I know with the power, our power company, in November of last year, no, October of last year, I think, and then turned around in December of last year, had jacked up the bill like twice. As in the actual, like, just flat rate price for electricity in general, which is stupid. It was a whole big thing, and it took a while to start manifesting, but man, it definitely assisted my standing. Oh, that is awesome, and trust me, I wish we could just banish depression. Oh, I totally wish we did. Here recently, I've just been fighting with mine, and I'm like, look, you've been around for too long. Get out. Like you're done for. Um, but we can definitely, as a community, that's what I wanted to talk about. So, if you have not seen the video that I posted, I started slowly in the beginning stages of starting a very big project, which is called the World Healing Project. Essentially, I came up with the idea, or shall I say, the idea was gifted to me from the divine, that instead of trying to just focus on everything and heal everything, what if we all came together, like all the witches, preferably all the witches in the world, came together and created this list. And each list is a specific thing that needs to be tackled. Here in the United States and mostly all over the world, financial, world hunger, gas prices, right? So what if we were to all, because magic, we can do so many things with magic. It's not just manifesting. We can manipulate certain people's minds to do this certain way to try to fix this, right? Or healing or finding solutions, right? But in a magical sense. So one subject on that list gets assigned to a group, or a group picks it, right? So that small little group of witches will only be focusing on that. And then multiply that with everything on the list. And say we do this for 2 lunar cycles, starting on a new moon and then going all the way through 2 of them, finishing on a full moon. And I think in a way, and how that would react, it would be small changes that would create a domino effect of bigger changes. It would be a catalyst for bigger changes and a way to slowly start trying to balance out things. And I think it would work. My mom did a candle the night before the surgery, and the day of the candle turned blue and pink, and it was a white candle. Oh, holy shit. I wondered if abundance fell on canned food that could be donated. So many ideas. Exactly. Like, see, I love that. Things like that, to where we would literally be able to like set magic or kind of do magic all over the place. And I've been told people, like, get this in your community. So if you have a community that has a food shelter, try to get the witches up in that community and try to do a food fundraiser for the food bank. So not only are you also incorporating magic, but we're also going out, if we can, and only if you can and have the necessity to actually also do physical change. Like, one of the things that I'm slowly going to start doing is I'm going to make a pointing stick. I don't know what they're called. Basically, I'm going to get a walking stick and drill a nail into it. And I'm going to, as I'm walking up and down to check my mail, I'm going to also pick up any trash that I see along the way. That's my way of contributing, of cleaning up the land. And trust me, there are a lot. So many people throw bottles out, and I've had to move so many of them that'll be in the middle of the road. And I'm like, I don't want a flat tire. You don't want a flat tire. So why the fuck do this? Honestly, the food bank I volunteer is Christian, but they have manifested some crazy shit. There's just a miracle from their God, but I believe it was them. Oh, that is awesome. I actually saw on TikTok, and I don't know where, but actually somebody created a pagan, well, it was for everybody, but it's pagan ran, food shelter. And it wasn't just like a food shelter. It was like they had a food shelter, they had a pantry, they had a book section, they had like a clothing section, and everything was free. And I was like, this is what we need more of, because it would break so many stereotypes when it comes to witches. I've been randomly hugging people lately. One day someone is going to smack me. I've done that before. And thank you. I'm not taking credit for it. It's from the divine. It just kind of clicked one day. And we started a Discord. Well, in my Discord service, there is a server that's called it. And that's where, and eventually I will be somehow making a Facebook group as well. It's just with the Facebook group, we have to worry about privacy issues, because I'm going to respect everybody. And there are a lot of people that do not want their full name or, all their personal information revealed. I'd hug you too. Revealed. So I've got to figure out a way to do both, but be able to connect everybody together. And see if we can randomly start this. So like, if you haven't watched that video, totally go watch it and then share it to every person you can to try to get people rallying. The first video that I dropped did really, really well. 1 or 2 people, I think 3 people at this point had duetted it, and there were a lot of positive responses. I just haven't been able to get all those people that responded initially back to it in one place. When you make a Facebook group, tell me and I will help. Okay, thank you. Sweet. I definitely will, because that's another thing that I'm slowly going to be incorporating is asking people to start becoming moderators and things like that. Thank you so much. Like, I just recently had a moment to where I haven't fully, like, I never realized fully of the community and how big our community has gotten. On like all the platforms, and it was just I kind of had to check out for a day because I was just like, this shit's overwhelming. And then I got that reading yesterday, and then I woke up today and I'm like, you know what, I manifested this shit. I gotta keep manifesting it and keep going. I'll do edit today. I wasn't human this weekend. Oh, I definitely feel that. I've had a couple of days where I've not been human. And with that, I think I went over everything that I wanted to go over. Actually, really quick, video ideas. Are there any videos that I have not made that y'all would like me to make? Obviously, if I know enough on it to speak on it, I totally will. I know I'm gonna want to make. I want to make a land, working with the land spirits. I need to message you later in your outside option or something. Okay. Anytime. I will be free today. Also. Holy shit. Alright, was not expecting that. I don't know why I'm hiding this. I got into a habit on Facebook of hiding my cigarettes because I was afraid somebody was going to report it. They have not so far. But, and I know somebody commented on divination, which I got to go back to that person and ask them to get a little bit more detailed in what type of divination would they like me to make a video on. And then I may do a vlog of me walking to the mail today if I do, because if you don't have a TikTok, which is completely okay, there was a newer, weirder thing that happened with me. I live in a mile and a half away from my mailbox. You're not on TikTok, haha. Don't hide the 6. Oh, I know. It annoys the hell out of me because I've gotten one of my videos flagged for one of my pins, and then I've seen people just straight up have blunts in their hands, and I'm like, actually, no. The other day I saw a woman straight up make a fucking edible. Didn't hide anything, didn't reword anything. Thousands, almost 1 million views. And I'm like, all right. Different forms of divination, maybe. Okay. See, I don't understand it. And TikTok's verified my age. Like, I've sent them a picture of my ID, so they know that I'm old enough to smoke. Random, what do you do with war water? Like, a few things that you prefer to use it for. I've used it in warding. I've used it in protection. I've even attempted to water a couple of flowers with it. I had some interesting things with that. Baneful magic, obviously. You really wanted to fuck somebody up as long as you are justified in it. Add some storm water to war water and put somebody in a jar and shake the shit out of it. It will damn sure cause a ruckus. I had a vape pen in mine and it was deleted. That's what I had. I had a vape pen and you could not even fully see the pin. And I'm like, TikTok, you just flagged this for dangerous acts, but yet you don't know if that's a nicotine pin or a THC pin. Honestly, I want to make meditational video guides, visualization guides through y'all. I'm really nervous. Oh, no, totally do. Please. I use water for banishing and warding chaos magic. Oh, I love it. One question, I'm getting snake skin soon. What can I use it for? I will definitely make a video on that. I actually have a box that has 2, I want to say they're python. I think they're python. One of my friend, he has 2 pythons. And he gave me 2 full-length skins that once I get an actual shadow box of, I want to hang up. My daughter was banned over Oregano. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, let's see. Oh, snakeskin. Pin. You will write snake, but you won't write skin without fucking up. What the fuck? But anyways, mile and a half away from our house. So that's like, I think that's like 2 miles straight. Anyways, there's this one specific plot of land, and it's always stood out to me because it is risen. It is like naturally risen. So obviously, naturally, I thought it was an Indian burial ground. Have not verified if it is or isn't. But as I'm walking past it the first time, I noticed, like, I saw something there, but it, like, moved. So, like, I kind of only saw, like, the corner of it, or out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, all right, that's weird, never had that happen before. And as I'm walking and I'm looking over into these woods, because there's a point to where it separates, and the entire energy completely changes. I actually already have a video, their TikTok compilations squished together on magic waters and dirt here on YouTube. Um, but like the energy domestically changed. So I get to the mailbox, and as I'm walking back, I start realizing that something is following me. I heard one whistle, only one time. I looked back, nothing was there. Obviously, I did not whistle back. Um, and then I kept hearing like twigs snap, and it's not like, like something rustling like a dog or a squirrel. It's something with weight to it. But every time I look, it's like it darts behind the trees. So I made 2 TikToks on that, and multiple people said that they could also they could hear or sense the energy with this specific location. It's just very wild. So I come home, and as I'm walking out to feed the cats, I start seeing this black. It's this weird looking, because like it's very drawn out, like stretched out when I do see it, but it's black and it darts behind things. Um, it's either a shadow person. I personally think it's some type of fae, which I've never encountered this particular type. But it won't actually come on our property except for one time. It stays at my neighbor's place. Um, and then I walk out of the door, and there's a fucking frog that's just dead and mummified right there on the little windowsill. Did not put it there. Have not seen it there. Walked out right before doing that video. It was not there. Somebody's suggestion that, cats. I do have cats. When I saw the vid, I felt spooked. That's what some people said. I was like, it creeped me out. Like, I wasn't scared. I was more intrigued. Yes, I'm going to be that white person that dies in a horror movie. No, I won't, because I'm pans and I'm a witch. I'll survive. But like that's me. I'm like, all right, let's go see. And then I saw that. I haven't really, besides seeing it, I haven't had any other experiences. Another interesting fact though, when I got home, Bubbers lost his shit all that night. He kept running up. When I first got home, he rang the fucking bell that's up here. It's only happened one other time, and that was when this female spirit appeared. And then even when my partner got home, he'd run all up and down the house, like doing the cat call, but it was a different cat call. He wasn't talking to the cats. And then he would run up to us like he needed something. And I'm like, you have a clean box, you have food, you have clean water. What are you trying to tell me? And then he'll periodically do it around dusk. Me too, Pans White, disabled woman yelled, I'd die. I haven't seen them like this. I've seen shadow people, but I think this is a fae, and I don't know if I pissed it off or it was intrigued or what has happened. But if I go to the mail today, I'm thinking about recording and just start posting it here on YouTube as well. But with that being said, I do have to go because I have to eat. And then I've got to check the clothes. I've got to read things that's behind this and then clear that up. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. Remind me to discuss what that was. Okay, I definitely will. Also, thank you so much, everybody who has joined me in this live. Thank you so much. Of course, and I hope you all have a wonderful day too. Obviously, I will be back at this tomorrow. Hopefully a little bit sooner than I did today. But yeah, if y'all need me, y'all know where to reach me. Discord peeps, we can talk there. Bye. Bye. And yes, I hope you all have an amazing day. And I will randomly be jumping in and out of the Discord as well. So until then, I will talk to y'all later and peace.